China's government has ordered a review of urban transit flood controls after 12 people died in a flooded subway. Large areas of the central province of Henan are underwater after being hit by torrential rain and landslides. At least 33 people have been killed in total, and more than 100,000 people have been evacuated from their homes. With more rain on the way, there are fears that the situation may get worse.
This is what happens when the amount of rain that usually falls over the course of an entire year pours down within days. Extreme weather has left the city of Changzhou and large parts of Henan province a disaster zone. The flooding turned streets into rivers, took out bridges and everything that came in its path. People had to be evacuated from their cars, offices or homes with what little they had on them. The official images and information released from the region by Chinese state media are controlled by the government. The government has deployed thousands of soldiers to reinforce dams, but some have already been breached. At least one had to be blasted to divert water. Still, officials convey one message: everything is under control. Our teams have rushed to Chengzhou, Luoyang, Kaifeng and other places in the region. We are focusing on flood diversion and prevention, on rescue and mass evacuations. Other troops in Henan are also ready to participate. They could well be needed. The rainfall is set to continue, and even President Xi Jinping admits the situation is extremely severe.
Let's get more on this story. We can speak to journalist Fabian Kretschmer in Beijing. Hi, Fabian. Bring us up to date with the latest on the flooding in Henan province.
Yeah, until Tuesday night, the rains have peaked in Jingzhou, that's the capital of Henan. And since then, the bad weather front has moved further up north. And there are at least 4 cities that have issued the highest storm warnings. And from videos that I could review from social media and also from the state media, the situation is still quite severe. Whole streets have been turned into rivers, and also people are stuck in their apartments without proper food supply and water supply. Those are the biggest problems right now. And to improve the situation, the authorities have mobilized more than 75,000 people, for example, also to evacuate people. And yeah, also the economic damage is quite huge. The authorities have said it's roughly $200 million, and I'm expecting that this number will also go up. And let me emphasize here, this is an ongoing tragedy. It's still raining. The situation is still quite tense and could even get worse.
And the power of the storm did surprise a lot of people. Did local authorities and weather services fail to warn citizens early enough?
Well, I'm cautious to judge too early. Clearly, they did not expect that kind of rain. And this is really a once-in-a-lifetime situation. I mean, just to give you an idea about the dimension, in Jingzhou, during 1 hour, there was 1 hour where there were 200 millimeters of rain falling down. That's roughly 1/3 of what usually is the rainfall of the whole average year. Really unprecedented. But of course, yeah, the warnings clearly didn't work, but the government controls the media. There's no critical media to investigate and to also ask critical questions. Also, social media users who ask about the role of the authorities, they get deleted and censored. That's really quite tragic. I'm sure this question will be addressed, but it will be addressed by the central government, and I'm not sure if they will make it transparent and public.
Fabian, you mentioned social media, and we understand that the topic of climate change has also come up in discussions there. Are people drawing connections between these extreme weather events and the rising temperatures?
Actually, not as prominently as you would expect. I mean, when I talk to the environmental activists and environmental journalists, of course, for them it's really the topic number one. But for the average people, not so clearly. And that's also has to do with the strictly controlled information environment. For example, when the state media covered the recent floods in West Germany or the forest fires in Siberia or the heat wave in Canada, they drew up the conclusion that it is linked with climate change. However, when now something similar happened in their own country, they focused that this is really just an exceptional rainfall, and were very cautious in drawing that link. And the problem is that the government doesn't want people to demand political change or civil engagement, and that's why they disencourage actually too active discussion about climate change.
Journalist Fabian Kretschmer speaking to us there from Beijing. Thank you.